these red flag laws incentivize you to go in a guns a-blazing. They always have and they always will. Anytime there is a need to hem somebody up in a surprising manner, is it any fucking surprise to you that they're not going to want to go willingly? For one, they don't have a good understanding of what the situation is going on around them. They have zero situational awareness because you just woke them up out of a dead fucking sleep. How do you expect anybody to respond? Any one of these officers that's involved in one of these things should be fucking fired and never hired back onto a point of authority ever again. Because they're just fucking following orders, man. I got to do what I got to do. I got to make the paycheck. I got to make sure I can take care of my... Fuck you. You're a goddamn bootlicker. Oh, I'm not... Ooh, I'm getting so angry. Sorry. I'm getting so angry. I use bootlicker. That's how you know I'm angry, man.
Yeah, you're hot.
But it is not... It is... I don't understand any situation where that is the way to do that, unless you are literally in a war zone and the only way to protect you and your squad safety is to go in guns blazing. And by then, if you don't have intel on what's inside, I don't know why the fuck you're going inside. If you're going into a foreign, I mean, it's hard to make a war analogy in this point because the last 20 years of fucking wars that we've had aren't actual like wars necessarily. There's a bunch of civilians and shit involved, but that's the only time where you need to go in guns a-blazing, man. You need to go in guns a-blazing because you're a military force doing a military action. If you are a civilian law enforcement officer, there is no way you cannot convince me in any fashion that that is the correct thing to do. I don't care what kind of quote-unquote intelligence you think you may or may not have on what's inside that building. You don't understand what's inside that building. You're a civilian in a law enforcement role. You're an agent of the state. You have no right to enter that place without a warrant and without letting the person inside know that you have a warrant and the right to enter.
Let's check this. Let's make it a little bit worse.
How do you do this?
A gifted computer programmer who lived in his parents' home, Lemp had caught the attention of police after they received tips that he illegally possessed weapons and had written online that he was an active member of a self-proclaimed militia, the report said.
Thank you, Bilbo.
They also suspected that Lemp had been illegally manufacturing and selling ghost guns, which don't have serial numbers and can't be traced. The frontline SWAT officers in the raid weren't wearing body cameras. One of them, the officer who fired his weapon through the window, did so as other SWAT members stormed through the house after battering through the front door. The raid was complicated because earlier surveillance of the home showed that Lemp had rigged a different exterior door leading to his bedroom with a booby trap designed to explode a shotgun shell in the face of an intruder, according to prosecutors' findings.
Which is federally illegal, unfortunately.
They also asserted that private text messages Lemp had written in the months before the shooting revealed he expected the police to raid his bedroom. He wrote about the need to reinforce the interior door to his bedroom to withstand a battering ram's blow, and indicated he was ready to shoot when officers came in. I've accepted the inevitability and made peace with my demise, he wrote to a friend earlier in 2020, according to a report. At least I'll go down kicking. After the raid, the report said police recovered from Lemp's bedroom at least 50 boxes of ammunition, a ballistics vest, 3 assault-style rifles, a handgun on his nightstand, and parts for more booby traps. The threat caused by Duncan Lemp retrieving a rifle and pointing it at the officers, coupled with Lemp's apparent refusal to obey law enforcement commands, justified the shooting officers' use of deadly force, prosecutors concluded in the report, which relied on the use of a grand jury and several witness interviews. Lemp's family members have long held that the police exaggerated the threat he posed. His family said police obtained a no-knock warrant based on flimsy evidence, opened fire on him while he was still asleep, and then burst into his room and stomped on his neck, assertions contradicted by the report. Lemp was struck by all 5 rounds in front of his girlfriend. Attorney for Lemp's family and his girlfriend blasted the report as incomplete and misleading. The exoneration of the officer, they said, has caused more anguish to their clients. So it's not good.
No, it's not fucking good, man. Yeah. Any broadening of this fucking red flag bullshit is only going to lead to more people dying. And unfortunately, it's the people that the state wants dead anyways. So there's not going to be any fucking pushback. And the only people that are going to push back are you and I, like the fucking two-way extremists.
Wait, check this. The reasons for the no-knock provision, this is part of the Montgomery County report, the reasons for the no-knock provision was due to Lemps being anti-government, anti-police, currently in possession of body armor, and an active member of the 3 Percenters, the report said, referencing what is called a far-right militia movement. Additionally, police had viewed several videos showing Lemp handling and shooting firearms. The police felt that knocking and announcing their presence would put the officers in serious danger if Lemp decided to resist his arrest. So it's safer for them. So The only thing in that list that you don't fit is being like an active member of the 3%ers. And for anybody who doesn't know, which is a stupid ass thing to say, 3%ers is based in the assumption or the statistic that 3% of people fought actively in the Revolutionary War. That's where that comes from, right? That's stupid. That's because you're part of a group that says that. That's dumb.
Because you're a part of what the Second Amendment would call a you know what? Let me just pull it out and just say it: a well-regulated militia. Because you have decided to uphold your Second Amendment right. Now you're a goddamn domestic terrorist.
So, Colin, you're liable to be raided at any time.
At any time, literally. We need to get the studio out. we need to move to an undisclosed location. Although I'm not that concerned about it, to be perfectly honest.
Additionally, police had viewed several videos showing Lemp handling and shooting firearms.
That makes him a fucking terrorist, doesn't it? If he knows how to use guns and puts it on the internet, for fuck's sakes, that dude he's just a ticking time bomb waiting to happen.
The report said the Lemp home was subject of an earlier police raid in 2016, but didn't say what precipitated it. McCarthy and Sandler declined to comment on it.
So we have a case where somebody's privacy has been infringed upon by the state, which then makes him a target for a no-knock warrant raid because of how dangerous his rhetoric has been and his videos and freedom of association, by the way, with the 3%ers, all of which are incredibly constitutional, and the state has decided he's too much of a danger and must be taken out. Whether or not he's dead or locked in a fucking cage at the end of the day, doesn't matter to them. That's basically what I'm hearing from this case. And I don't know if I was this verbose when we talked about it at the time. Probably not. I think
was early in George Floyd.
My understanding of my own rights have drastically increased since then, and so I'm probably more passionate today than I ever have been. But
April of 2020, this happened.
I'm not okay with the state arbitrarily deciding who can live or die, and that seems like a fucking extremist view, doesn't it, to modern day people? I don't understand why you do not have the right to do everything that he was doing, and insisting that the government was indeed infringing on his rights. Because they were. And then he was afraid the state was going to come after him. And they did.
Which they did.
So they just took him off the board because he just was too much of a problem for them. There's zero rational logical thinking that gets you from exercising freedom of speech, freedom of association, and the Second Amendment to you need to die. Or be locked in a cage for the rest of your life. There's zero way to get from point A to point B on that one, but the state does anyways. Fuck the state. Every major institution hates you and wants you to fucking die.
And they don't even have to show evidence for it.
No.
And
of course not.
Montgomery County has a policy of not having SWAT officers wear body cameras, even though it's a policy for all uniformed officers to wear body cameras. But if you're a SWAT officer, you don't have to.
Something about this, this is like that fucking apathy stuff I was talking about in part one. This is the shit that really bothers me because there are more and more people every day that think this is the right way to think. And they're getting propagandized by the establishment politicians, the fucking the corporate press, everything of reaffirming their misunderstanding of their own rights. And it just gets worse and worse and worse every goddamn day. Every day it gets worse. We had a small, contextually, we call it a big W we haven't even addressed it yet, but the passage, we addressed it in part 2, but with the passage of the oh my gosh, I'm just going to pull it up so I can actually read the fucking title of it. The New York State Rifle and Pistol Association versus Bruin.
Yes.
Where they affirmed the right to be able to carry a firearm outside of your home and made it so that may-issue states no longer have the ability to not allow you to fulfill your Second Amendment right. And that only really affects about, I think it was like 7 states. that have the May issue. But that was a big W in the world of the 2A. But it doesn't stop the state from still coming in and putting their boot on your fucking neck and killing you because they don't like the way you exercise the rest of your rights. Like, it's a nice win. I'll take it because I love more and more people have the freedom to exercise their Second Amendment rights, their God-given right to defend themselves. That is a beautiful thing, and I love more people to be able to have that. It still doesn't stop the state. If anything, it incentivizes the state even more to overstep all of your other rights to come into your world and fuck your life up or end it just because you decided you wanted to carry firearms and you don't like the fact that the government is infringing on your rights now. That makes you an enemy, a piece on the board that must be taken off because you're running contrary to what they want at the end of the day. And it's not okay in any fashion whatsoever. The idea that you would use these dead kids from Uvalde to push this bullshit about red flag laws and give everybody, well, if somebody's dangerous, they should, we should have the ability to let the government. You already do. Everybody that's in these motherfucker circles that knows these people that they're interviewed afterwards. Yeah, he was always a weird guy. He was killing fucking cats and putting them on the internet, blah, blah. They already had the ability to do something about it and didn't. Now the state has to come in and supersede everybody and just say, it doesn't matter. If your neighbor calls in and says you're a threat to yourself or others, state's going to respond because if it saves one life,
Big Brother will handle it.
That's right. That's right. I'm so fucking hot right now. I feel like I'm not thinking clearly. So if I'm a little all over the place, please forgive me, guys. But it's not okay, man. This is why. This type of shit is how I became an anarchist.
Welcome to the salt of the streets, coming at you every week with this